Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Diaries Chanel. It all started with a quiet confession, one that would go on to shake the foundations of the fandom in ways no one expected. For years, fans have speculated, theorized, and felt the subtle tension between Jimin and Jungkook, two members of BTS, whose connection often goes beyond words. But while most of their moments together have been shared under bright lights and in front of thousands of fans, there are some memories hidden behind the stage, moments no camera caught, stories whispered only among those closest to them. And now, for the first time ever, one of those stories has surfaced. In an anonymous interview with a former Big Hit staff member, someone who worked intimately with BTS during the peak of their Love Yourself era, a memory was shared that left even the interviewer speechless. The staff member had remained quiet for years, out of respect, out of caution. But something about the moment stuck with her, something so intimate, so raw, that she could never forget. A few days after the interview clip started circulating in fan communities, a second anonymous source came forward, not a staff member, but a translator who once worked on BTS's overseas engagements. She claimed that during a behind-the-scenes dinner in Tokyo in 2019, she witnessed something just as striking, something that until now she had locked away in her memory. They were seated at the far end of the table, she explained. Everyone else was chatting, laughing, busy with their meals. But Jungkook and Jimin, they were in their own world. Jimin had been quiet the whole evening, looking a little tired. Then Jungkook, mid-conversation with another member, just stopped, stood up without a word, and switched seats to sit beside Jimin. She remembered how Jungkook casually put his arm around Jimin's chair and leaned in to whisper something. Whatever it was, it made Jimin laugh, quietly relieved, like something heavy had been lifted. "I couldn't hear the words," the translator admitted, "but I saw the way Jimin looked at him after that. It was the look of someone who felt safe." Moments like these aren't new to fans. They've seen the way Jungkook instinctively steps in when Jimin is upset, how Jimin always notices when Jungkook is silent for too long. It's not just about touches or glances, it's about energy. How Jimin's presence calms Jungkook. How Jungkook's laughter brings out a softness in Jimin no one else seems to awaken. There was even an instance during the Map of the Soul 7 promotions where an off-camera moment was caught accidentally during a V-Live prep. Jungkook, seemingly distracted, was looking around backstage. The moment his eyes found Jimin, his expression shifted. His shoulders relaxed, his smile became real. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. That's what makes Jikook different. Their communication transcends words. "I didn't want to intrude," she admitted, "but I froze when I saw it." They were just sitting side by side. Jimin had his head leaning on Jungkook's shoulder, and Jungkook, he was looking at Jimin like he was his entire world. There was no audience, no script, no cameras rolling. It was just the two of them, wrapped in silence, surrounded by the lingering echoes of their music. According to the staff member, the expression on Jungkook's face was one of complete softness and deep affection, like everything else had faded away. "They didn't say a word," she continued, "but the way they sat there, the closeness between them, it told me everything I needed to know. It wasn't performative. It wasn't for anyone but them. It felt like I was watching a secret the world wasn't meant to see." The revelation spread like wildfire. Jikook fans who have always sensed something special found themselves crying, sharing old videos, dissecting interviews, and recalling their own favorite moments. The way Jungkook always seemed extra attentive when Jimin was around. The way Jimin's eyes softened whenever he looked at Jungkook. The endless back and forth teasing, the meaningful glances, the emotional performances where they leaned on each other more than anyone else. And now, with this quiet story from behind the scenes, it all made sense. It was no longer just fan perception. Someone who had been right there, someone who had seen what fans only imagined, had felt it too. Of course, not everyone welcomed the revelation. Some dismissed it as exaggerated, a misinterpretation of a platonic bond. But for many others, especially those who have followed Jikook closely for years, this wasn't just confirmation. It was affirmation, validation that what they saw wasn't in their heads. It was real, it always had been. What makes this story so powerful isn't just the romantic speculation, it's the reminder that love, in all its forms, doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes it lives in quiet moments, in the way someone adjusts another's jacket, in the silence between heartbeats, in the way two people sit together in an empty arena, finding peace in each other when the world becomes too much. Jikook's bond has always felt different. While the rest of BTS shares undeniable brotherhood, the connection between Jimin and Jungkook seems to carry a different weight. Deeper, more emotional, sometimes turbulent, always intense. Through the years, we've seen glimpses of it: the protective instincts, the jealous glances, the subtle touches, the moments where it feels like they forget the cameras exist. And now, thanks to the staff members' rare window into their world, fans have been given a deeper understanding of just how real that connection might be. But maybe the biggest takeaway isn't just the romance or the mystery. It's the fact that in a world full of noise, Jungkook and Jimin have managed to create their own quiet universe, one where the only thing that matters is how they make each other feel. As fans, we may never get the full story. We may never hear them say it out loud. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the most beautiful love stories are the ones that don't need to be explained, only felt. One longtime ARMY, known online as @JikookSeoul, shared a powerful message in response to the staff member's confession. Even if Jikook never say a word, they've already spoken volumes. Love doesn't always look like kissing in public or shouting it from rooftops. Sometimes, it looks like brushing someone's hair away gently before the camera rolls. Sometimes it's holding eye contact for just 1 second longer than necessary. That's why this revelation matters so much, not because it gives fans something to scream about, but because it validates what so many have felt deep down for years. That the bond between Jungkook and Jimin isn't just close. It's different, and it's real. What this also reminds us is that even in a world where so much is curated and controlled, some things remain beautifully raw and untouched. And in those rare glimpses, the accidental footage, the off-script stares, the quiet stadium moments, we're reminded that not everything beautiful needs to be explained. But perhaps the most emotional part of the story came not from the staff members or translators, but from a handwritten letter that surfaced in a fan cafe. It was dated late 2019 and signed only with initials, but the handwriting matched that of a staff coordinator who had worked with BTS during their world tour. In the letter, the coordinator spoke of a day when Jimin had a small anxiety attack before going on stage. It wasn't public, and most people didn't even notice, but Jungkook did. But perhaps the most emotional part of the story came not from the staff members or translators, but from a handwritten letter that surfaced in a fan cafe. It was dated late 2019 and signed only with initials, but the handwriting matched that of a staff coordinator who had worked with BTS during their world tour. In the letter, the coordinator spoke of a day when Jimin had a small anxiety attack before going on stage. It wasn't public, and most people didn't even notice, but Jungkook did. He stayed by his side the entire time. The note read, even when everyone else assumed Jimin was just getting ready. He didn't leave, didn't speak, just held Jimin's hand. I remember walking past and catching them in the mirror's reflection, Jimin with his eyes closed. Jungkook focused only on him. The lights were about to come on. The music was seconds from playing. But in that moment, the world stood still. Jungkook didn't let go until Jimin said, "I'm okay now." And so, we come to the end of a revelation that has touched the hearts of countless fans. A silent moment shared under the stars, far away from flashing lights and screaming crowds, one that now lives on in the hearts of those who believe. Whether you see it as love, deep friendship, or something in between, one thing is undeniable. Jikook's bond is something rare, something real, and something that continues to move us all. It's stories like these, soft, hidden, and personal, that show the soul of Jikook. Their bond isn't for display. It's for comfort, for survival even, and maybe that's the most shocking part of all. Not that someone confirmed what fans had always suspected, but that two global superstars found a way to carve out such a tender. If the story stirred something in you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Jikook Diaries. Let us know, what moment made you believe in Jikook? What's your favorite memory of them together? Until next time, keep your hearts open, your eyes soft, and remember, sometimes, The most beautiful stories are the ones whispered, not shouted. This is Jikook Diaries, signing off where every heartbeat tells a story. Purple Heart sparkles.